So we are students. Yeah, good evening. So how many of you have discussed yesterday with your parents about the stocks, maybe a mid cap or small cap category of stocks we were discussing? Because these are the stocks which are high likely to give you kind of growth or returns that a common investor expects. So we discussed about yesterday mid cap, small cap stocks, mid cap, small cap mutual funds, and some of the examples we also took. So yes, anybody who discuss with their parents or their elders or any kind of stock names you came to know which are into small cap or mid cap category, and is there any case that they have got a good returns three, four, five times the one stock they have bought and it has become three, four times or what? And in maybe other cases also, if there are one or two cases where someone has faced 50-60% kind of a loss also in some of the cases. So are there any kind of these case studies you found out when you discussed it with your parents or elders? You can just name a few examples here and then we'll go ahead today again. KPI Green Energy. Okay. So what price your elder parent or someone bought it? See, when you are giving example of some stock, you also have to ask them at when they have bought it, basically, and at what price. And was there a significant loss or profit to that particular transaction which they did? So you're saying KPI Green Energy. Yeah, the stock is now at 400 rupees. Maybe if you look the chart of last 3 years, uh, see if someone has bought it here, they are still into the losses. If you have bought it in the 2024, 600 rupees, 500 rupees, it is at the 400 rupees. So there is no gain. Yeah, but on the other hand, if someone has bought it, let's say in 2022, it was around 40-50 rupees. From 40-50 rupees, it went up to 600 rupees. So if someone has bought it here, they have made a good money. But if someone has bought it here, 575, 600, 640, those kind of levels, these people are still in the losses even after holding for 2 years. So that is very important. The stock which you buy should be at a right valuation at the right price. Then only you will get a good returns, three, four, five times, six times. Otherwise, 2, 3 years you just have to hold a stock and you are not profitable still. So sometimes long-term investing also may not be profitable if you buy at the wrong price. Someone had said physics wala. So yeah, Arush said how much at what price your parent or elder has bought this stock of KPI Green Energy or when they have bought it. Yeah, if you just know, just let me know and we will see the results. Physics for we all know it's a new company. KPI, see, yeah, KPI is still currently in loss. Yes, that's what I was telling. See, so if your elder has bought it here, 50, 60, 70 rupees, their money would have been 4, 5 times by now. Even the stock fell from 600 to 400. But if someone has bought it here, 50, 60 or 70 rupees or even 100 rupees, they're still making 4 times of their money. 1 लाख का 4 लाख हो जाता। पर जिसने अभी 6 लाख यहाँ पे डाला है वो 2 लाख घाटे में है अगर 6 लाख का बाय किया है किसने तो। दैट इज द रीजन ऑलवेज डोंट चेस द स्टॉक्स। सी इफ यू आर चेसिंग द स्टॉक्स विच इज ऑलरेडी अप बाय, जब स्टॉक 80-90 रुपए का है और आप वहाँ 500-600 रुपए पे बाय कर रहे हो तो इट हैज गॉन अप इन 2 years by मोर देन 7 to 8 times। तो ऑलवेज कीप इन माइंड डोंट चेस द स्टॉक। एक स्टॉक 5-6 गुना होने के बाद बाय करोगे तो अगले 2-3 साल तक तो आप उसमें फंसोगे ही। यूजुअली मार्केट में यही होता है, व्हेन देयर इज टू मच ऑफ एक्सॉर्बिडेंस इन एनी काइंड ऑफ अ स्टॉक, यूजुअली यू वेट फॉर सम काइंड ऑफ अ फ्लैटिश मूव इन द स्टॉक। सो एक बार अगर ऐसे कोई आपको ग्राफ दिखे कि स्ट्रेट अवे स्टॉक ऊपर गया तो अगले 2-3 साल तक तो वो रिटर्न नहीं दे पाता, because it has gone up already too much in the less time. So always keep in mind the valuation part and don't chase the returns blindly. That is what the example says. See, instead of this, if someone has bought it here, that person is still making 4 times of the money. But since the buying is done here, the person is in the loss. Otherwise, it would have been a profitable trade by now. Very much profitable because. So yeah, always keep in mind the valuation part, like kind of valuations we look at the stock P ratio, EV by beta ratio. So these kind of some of the basic ratios. For the moment, you just keep a look on maybe P ratio and EV by beta, or maybe price to sales. One or two ratios we can look on. Any other examples? Physics Wala, you said, yeah, it is rising now. Physics Wala is a new startup company basically. They are into online coaching of physics classes. You might have all known this since you are also students. Yeah, you must have bought it here, 110 something kind of it. Now it is around 120. So 8-10% kind of a gain is there. But still here also in the valuation part, if you see, it is also expensive company from the valuation point of view. Yeah, someone has written PTC Industries and HFCL. So do you know what price they have bought it, PTC or HFCL? Let's take an example of HFCL. HFCL has moved up quite heavily in the last few months. See, just last 2 months from 75 rupees to 200 rupees, three times in 2 months. Can you imagine? 1 लाख का 3 लाख 2 महीने में हो गया मतलब जिसने स्टॉक बाय किया था उसका. The kind of crazy returns the stock has seen. So what price your elder or parent has bought it, and maybe if you have asked them ki why have you bought it, could you please share? Yeah, who was that? Alicia Arora. Yes. So any price you know, Alicia, PTC or HFCL, and maybe a reason if you have asked. Okay, grandfather bought it at 70 excellent price, 71 rupees. Now in within 2-3 months, the stock has gone up by three times. It is mostly, have you asked them ki why they have bought it? Any reason? Sir, will there be a recordings for these classes? Yeah, yeah, you can ask the Ashwani ma'am. I think they are available, recordings. You might get it. He noticed some weekly patterns. Okay, great. So technical analysis is also there. So if you're asking about weekly, this is a daily candle. So now if we just type it, which one stock we're discussing? HFCL. This is a daily candle. Instead of daily, if you do weekly candles, this is a 1 week candle. So let's say it was a flat kind of a stock, yes, and then sudden move. See, maybe here because he saw a sudden big candle, he might have bought it. It is a flat stock for let's say 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, and suddenly this candle, see, yeah, 75, 78 rupees. So maybe might have bought it here because of the bigger candle weekly. Yes, those who were not able to submit assignments, you can submit it now, no problem. It's fine. So yeah, this is HFCL. HFCL का technical study. Even if someone has not bought it here, usually what pattern it suggests, the stock is in the sideways market. It is not going down also and not going up also. See, and once it breaks this price, which was the previous high of last 1 year, yeah, it is a signal that it's breaking out of a zone. So here anybody would have bought it at a 90-95 rupees. And from there also more than two times the stock in just 2 months. This is how you can target or identify the breakouts in the stock. This is nothing but a breakout stock example. Again, which other stock? PTC India. What price PTC India bought it? Any idea? So it is again a defense contractor. It is a metal component for critical supplementary appliances for industries like defense, oil and gas, and so on. It has also gone up almost for 5,000 rupees. Is now at almost 18,000 rupees. Almost three times in 3 years. Good movement. This is a continuously uptrend stock PTC India if you see for last 3 years. 3-4 years, you have bought it anywhere, you have made some kind of a money. See, if you buy here, if you buy here, if you buy here. Only if you have bought it recently here, you may not have made some money. But yeah, in the last 2-3 years, those who have bought it, they have made a good money. So yeah, these were few examples. So also we studied in the last session about dividend. You remember dividend, right? So company declares dividend when they are profitable, and some part of a profit they share with the shareholders. So how many number of shares you are holding in your demat account? As per that, you get your dividend. Now, what is fundamental analysis? We are also checking side by side some of the graphs, technical charts. That is nothing but a technical analysis. So, what is the difference between fundamental and technical? We also discussed in the first session. So, fundamental analysis is basically analysis of the company's business model, its fundamentals like financial situation, ratio analysis, how profitable company is, how the company is placed compared to the competitors in the industry, and so on. We are studying last 5, 6 years of data of the company. Is the revenue increasing? Is the margin stable or increasing? Is their net profit is increasing? So, n number of factors we check in fundamental analysis. We also check about the brand value in the market. We also compare the company with the competitors in the industry. So all these factors come into fundamental analysis. Then in fundamental analysis, there are two approaches, top down and bottom up. So top down approach में क्या होता है? You also study the overall economic policies of a country as well as political events and then industry level information. So let's say you are an FII, foreign institutional investors, and you have, let's say, $10 billion with you, and you have to invest in any international market. Let's say India is also international for you because you are sitting in the US. So you can all you have an option of investing in US, China, India, or maybe some other Asian market like Taiwan, Hong Kong. So what will you do? For those kind of players which are international in nature, they first have to analyze which country or which economic policies of a country is stable or in the growing state. So currently, India, China, they are growing markets. US market is also growing because of the tech AI kind of thing. Then recently, you saw Taiwan or Korean markets also gained. So these 5, 6 markets you have in front of you, those are in the decent kind of a economic uptrend. Then the next point is checking the political stability. Is that country politically stable or their governments keep changing every 2, 3 years? That is the second point investors look out for. Because if your governments keep changing every 2, 3 years, stability of the economic policy will not happen and it will impact the GDP of a country. Overall growth will hamper. So after economic policy, they also check the political stability. And then you study the industry. And from this country, now we want to check which 2, 3 industries are good to invest or which 2, 3 industries have a high growth rate chances. That is called as top-down approach from top to bottom. And then bottom is nothing but analyzing the companies basically. So top-down approach में ये होता है. And as against it, what is the bottom approach? You basically directly start analyzing a particular stock based on the data. That is the bottom up approach. Because other parts, maybe it is not your discretion to study other parts. You are just an analyst who is covering a company, or you are investor basically domestically who is only investing in current domestic country, and you don't have option to invest into other countries. So that case, someone may be directly studying the stock. So top down is nothing but studying one by one economy, political stability, industry, and then company. This is nothing but a top down thing. So macroeconomic study में you just saw क्या क्या होता है? Political study, GDP growth, fiscal deficit, current account deficit, debt कितना है country पे, credit rating क्या है? All those things are covered into macroeconomic study. And what is industry study? Yeah, just read it out. First, we can select the top growing industries which has demand in growing GDP of a country in the next few years. So you can ask the few market research companies to submit their reports, or you can buy out these reports that which are the high growth industries for the next 5 years or 10 years in India if you're analyzing Indian market. And then you will come to know, okay, yeah, this industry is in a good space. Maybe, yeah, technology, AI wise, this industry has some scope. Or maybe manufacturing industry is going to perform in the next 5 years, or a banking industry is there. So accordingly, then you decide which are the top 2, 3 industries which have a good market size and a growth rate for next 5 to 6 years. That is your second step. Once you know that, then from that industry you have to select top 2, 3 companies which are good and good data available. And apart from that, a number of other factors, promoters, competitors, financial strength, revenue, profitability, dividends, ratio analysis, and so valuation, lastly. So this is how you study a fundamental analysis, analyzing the company from end to end. So now, important point of analyzing a company financially is to understand their balance sheet and profit and loss statement. So we'll see, just read out this example. This is an example of profit and loss statement, P&L, profit and loss statement. It is nothing but revenue and cost setup of a company. And balance sheet is basically what kind of assets or liabilities company is holding. That is nothing but a balance sheet. So balance sheet tells you how the company is raising the money and how they are utilizing it to buy the assets. Whereas profit and loss account is nothing but their income and expenses ratios. That is nothing. Yeah, that is all. So just read the headings. You will maybe understand and then we'll discuss. So this is a typical structure of a P&L. So profit and loss में क्या आता है? First you have a revenue, total revenue. Then you have cost, which gives you a gross profit. Then you have some other expenses. You subtract it. Then you get operating profit and so on. So live example, if you want to check, you just have to go to the screener. So here, let's take an example of any company. What else you can take? Titan. What? Let's take an example of Titan stock. So here, this is a profit and loss statement of last 8-10 years. If from 2015 to 2026, all the data is here. It is not the entire P&L. If you have to go and check the entire P&L, you have to go to the annual report of the company. But it is a summary of P&L, you can see. So first there is a revenue or sales, you can say. From that you minus the expenses, core expenses. Then you get what? Operating profit. This is operating profit. This is operating profit margin. So here you can see from 8% to 12% margin went up. Now it is stable around 10%, you can say, from the last 3-4 years. So these are some of the examples of good companies where margin keeps stable and it is not declining always. Then their sales are increasing continuously from 28,000 to 40,000 to 50,000, 60,000, 87,000. It's a big jump here, you can see. Here the big jump reason could be also, this is a jewelry company, so maybe gold and silver prices have also went up this year quite well. So maybe that is also the reason there is a sudden jump in the revenue in this particular year. So from the operating profit, you subtract or add back these items. You subtract the interest. Interest is nothing but for the business operations. The companies also borrow from the banks when they have less money with them. So on the loan, they basically are paying the interest. That is the interest. So you have to subtract depreciation, interest, other items, add if any other income, add it, and then you get profit before tax. From profit before tax, you have to subtract the tax, and then you get a net profit. So this is nothing but a P&L of a company. And then you get basically EPS. Yesterday we saw EPS, right? What is EPS? We just have to divide net profit divided by outstanding shares. So how many shares currently are there for company? You just have to divide net profit by that number. Then you get earning per share. It is EPS, earning per share. And then this is a balance sheet. So first you have equity capital, reserves, then you have borrowings. Borrowing is nothing but loans. Then you have other liabilities. Then you have fixed assets. What are the fixed assets? Fixed asset is nothing but any plant, machinery, or any office building, if they have bought it or created it. That is all under comes fixed asset part. Then you have work in progress, WIP. So whichever assets are still not constructed, those assets appear here. Then you have some investments, other assets. This is all the asset side. This is the liability side, or maybe you can say capital side. So which are the important figures to look for in the revenue state, profit and loss statement, balance sheet? Yeah. Just make sure the sales should be increasing, profit should be increasing, and margin is stable or increasing. And just come here and check compounded sales growth. This figure should be at least 8 to 10% last 3 to 5 years. Also, on similar line, 8 to 10% or more, or 10 to 15% you can say, should be the profit growth. Stock price CAGR growth should be around 10 to 15% or more. Then you can say financially this company is performing well. Then balance sheet you can also check if they don't have too much of borrowings. Borrowing should be less than their revenue size at least. Yeah, for banks you don't check this because banks entire business model is different. We are talking about other than banks. So usually their debt or borrowing should be less than the overall revenue of the company. So yeah, these are some of the important part you can check on. These are some of the basic ratios one can check for calculating the financial strength of a company. Just have a look at them. Yes, the EPS is one which we just studied. But it is nothing but net profit divided by outstanding shares. So let's take an example. I will give you an example you have to calculate. Let's say 1000 crore is the net profit of the company for the current year. And their outstanding shares are, let's say, 1.5 CR. And what is the EPS? 1000 crore is the net profit, and 1.5 CR is basically outstanding shares. Then what is the EPS? Yes, it's not time. It's a simple math, guys. Calculate. Yes, type it fast, guys. Only one answer till now. So what we discussed here, 1000 crore is the net profit and 1.5 CR is outstanding share. So yeah, 666.66. That is the right answer. Two of you have got it right. This is the earning per share. What is the gross margin? Gross profit divided by revenue into 100. And what is the gross profit? From the revenue, you have to subtract the cost of goods sold. So core cost of goods sold, COGS is nothing but the core cost of the company. So here in case, raw material costs or any other items which are there. From the expenses part, if you click here, see material cost. So material and manufacturing cost is something which is known as the gross cost. So if you subtract from sales these two expenses, what you get is the gross profit of the company. And then you subtract the other expenses. Then you get operating profit. The difference between gross profit and operating profit is basically from the gross. In the gross profit, you just have to subtract manufacturing and material cost. And to arrive at operating profit, you also have to subtract the other expenses like employee salary, office expenses, and so on, marketing cost, etc. So when you subtract all that, yeah, you get a operating profit. That's it. Then yeah, operating profit is also known as EBITDA. EBITDA is very popular term. It has a full form: earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. This is nothing but a full form of this. So this is also called as operating profit, which we just saw right now. Then you have net profit, net profit margin. Net profit margin is nothing but net profit divided by revenue into 100. It gives you a margin. Then return on equity. Return on equity is nothing but net profit divided by shareholders' funds into 100. Yeah, these are one of the two ratios. But yeah, but for your level, maybe you can just Remember EPS, gross margin, net margin, and yeah, return on equity. And you just have to go to the screener. All these ratios are ready-madely available here. See, return on equity is already calculated. Return on equity of around 15-20% or more is considered as a good. See, they have around 30% and maintained it. So it is a good measure or a good company, you can say. Then sales growth is also 20%. Profit growth is also nice for the last 5 years. These are examples of some of the good stocks. So just uh, we also want to discuss some of these two, three names. Give me 5 minutes. You just have one task till then. Find out two, three good stocks. Maybe you can Google it. The criteria is you need to find out such stocks which have given you a CAGR for the last 5 years of more than 20%. So find out stocks which has gone up by 20% or more and give me the names in the next 5 minutes. Okay. Yes, any answers? Yes, someone has written CG Power, Lloyd Metals. Let's take an example. CG Power, what is the stock CAGR? Lloyd Metals, BAC, HAL, right? All the right examples. See, 5 year stock CAGR is 60%. Amazing stock return. If you also check BAC, again 100%. Oh, that is quite huge. Solar Industries, again 60%. Right. So you got it right. Yes, BAC, right. TVS Motor, Hitachi Energy, right. So how did you find it? Google or how? What query you basically use, or you use ChatGPT to find it? Google, okay. Some of the people can also use the ChatGPT. Give me a stock names whose stock CAGR return is more than 20% in the Indian market. You will get a list of 50 stocks, maybe. There are at least 50 stocks which has given you more than 20% each year. Right, right. Yeah, now there's a list of some important websites which we all already discussed. The two of these things you can read every day. So take out 10 to 15 minutes of time. Maybe you can use app also. Apps also available. Economic Times. There is a Mint also, MINT Mint and Money Control. These are some of the websites or maybe mobile apps you can use to improve your stock market knowledge. Go to the Money Control app. Whenever you open Money Control app or website, you get a number of news items or discuss. Let's say if we just type it here, it's all about the stock market. So yeah, whenever you open Money Control app or this, you get to read a number of news items. See, so here you see Trump Iran ceasefire sparks market rally, but uncertainty remains over lasting peace. This is one report that may they have said that the war is over, but still there is uncertainty, and it may keep the markets again on the volatile part. Center banks 16 fixed dose combinations of drugs nationwide. So a number of news are there. Geo IPO, AI push retail. So now yesterday there was a news that Reliance Geo has made a plan to launch a initial public offer or IPO. So this is a good thing to track for you guys in the next few months. All the issue related updates will start coming in for the Reliance Geo. They are launching their IPO. Maybe in the next 3 to 4 months, they will come up with the IPO. Yesterday, they have filed it with the SEBI with all the necessary documents. So after studying all these documents, SEBI will decide whether to when to give them the green signal for launching the IPO. Most likely, it is a good company. Maybe in the next 3 months, you will see that Geo is launching their IPO by Diwali or so. That is possible. So yeah, this is the money control. All the news items are there. And also, you can go to Mint website or maybe you can go to Economic Times also. A number of articles related to finance, economics are there, and you can just read it. So take out 10-15 minutes time every day, and yeah, keep reading it. It will basically improve your knowledge. Apart from that, what else you can do? You can go to the company website for which company you are trying to analyze the stock. Read their annual report. एनुअल रिपोर्ट में क्या रीड करना है आपको? मैनेजमेंट डिस्कशन, एनालिसिस, फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स. फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट इज नथिंग बट द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस एंड बैलेंस शीट, company presentation, broker reports on the company, and so on. So alternatively, in the screener website, it is the best thing to have these days. What you can do is, let's say if you are analyzing this stock, you just have to come down to the shareholding part, and below that, if you see all the annual reports. If you click on there, you will get an annual report. Okay. All important announcement, company reports, news items, all you can see it here. And then con calls. So what is a con call? So mostly good companies, good investor friendly companies, after every result, every quarterly result, they have a con call. That is a call with the analysts of the company. So to cover one company by research wise, there are 4 to 5 broker houses whose analysts ask them questions, and then they basically get their question and answers. So also, whenever the result is announced every quarter, their PPT is also uploaded. So if you just click on the PPT, you'll get it. You can also analyze the PPT. You can also read the transcript. Transcript is nothing but all the Q&A part. Nowadays, you have a summary option also available, all the AI summary. If you just click it on it, the summary of transcript will appear in front of you. It is as simple as that nowadays because of the AI thing and chat GPT, whatever. So yeah, this is a presentation which the company has uploaded Q4 FY26. So this was the latest quarter 4 result and overall year-end result. And they have made a presentation about it. So in the presentation, what they have written, if you just have to highlight the year by year, FY26 versus FY financial year, this is sales is up by 30%, EBITDA is up by 35%, net profit is up by 35%. So all those numbers, you can see it. See, then again, balance sheet breakup, income, profit and loss statement का breakup, net sales, material consumed कितना है, employee cost is this much, EBITDA is this much, then profit after tax is this much. So all the breakups they have basically given here. Then again, some segment level data. So which industry basically and how they have performed. Yearly figures. How much debt they have. So this is nothing but the entire PPT. So whenever you analyze a stock, the best way is to go to the screener website, type the name, what all the things we discussed. Just see the compounded sales growth. It should be more than 10-15%. Profit growth should be more than 15-20%. Stock price CAGR should be also more than 20%. Then you can see if the stock is consistent on the numbers part. Then you go to the shareholding part and see your DI holding should be at least more than 8 to 10%. Then it is a safe company. DI is nothing but the mutual funds. So mutual funds and the other domestic companies, they have a good track record of doing the research. So when you observe DI level is more than 10% of the company is held by DI, you get some kind of assurance they have done their part of research and you are good to go ahead with this kind of a company. Just as a green signal, you can take it. Yeah, and then come here, read about the transcript Q&A. So here the transcript of the latest result. So see, all the transcript exactly translated by a call. See, the first question they're asking, then what is the answer? First, the moderator asks, ladies and gentlemen, good day, welcome to the Solar Industries earning call. You also get an audio recording if you don't want to read the entire stuff. when number of things are available. So what questions the analyst is asking and what answer the management is giving, everything is there. See, we can open now for the Q&A. This is now the first question. So for first one, this guy Amit Dixit is asking some questions. Congratulations for a very robust set of numbers and indeed a strong guidance. I have a couple of questions. The first one is the international business. Now, if you look at international business, the growth has been very good this year. Just wanted to get a sense on the new geographies like Zimbabwe and so on. So they are asking in new geographies how you are going to perform. And then the Manish Naval, who is the what CEO or CFO, he is answering. You're right that international business is doing good, and I said this in this year the international business has grown by 32%. Next year, which is FY27, we are expecting apart from the defense, domestic and international, both should do very good. So then the answer. So this is like answer Q&A session goes on. N number of questions are asked, and these are the answers you get. If you don't want to read entirely, you just have the option to read AI summary. So summary of this transcript. So this is how you do the fundamental analysis part. You read about their products on the website of the company. Maybe you can read some research report in the market if available. You can analyze their numbers. You can analyze the stock AI summary wise. If they are talking good from the future perspective, you can say that yeah, this is future guidance or growth is there in the company, which management feels confident about. Yeah, you can choose such stocks to invest into. This is a way to analyze a number of things. Now, one more thing you do, we just calculated the stocks whose growth was more than 20%. Now you give me stock, 5 to 6 stock names whose compounded profit growth of last 5 years is more than 20%. Give me 5 to 6 minutes. You have 5 minutes to do this. Yes, you have answered Dixon, Polycab, Varun Beverages, ICICI. Right. So, how did you find it then? Again, someone, any other guys? How to find this? Or you just did the Google this thing again? Or ChatGPT, Gemini? See, again, this is a good stock, Dixon. You can see last 5 years, sales have gone up by 50%. Profit is gone by 50%. Stock is also gone up by 22%. One of the stocks which has given you good returns. Also, DI investment you can see is more than 20%, 28% DI investment. So these are some of the kind of stocks which has given good returns to the investors. So one more use of this screener is basically you can yourself also create a query and generate a stock list. Let's say if you click on the create new screen, if you want to find out stocks which sales growth is more than 15%, you just have to type sales growth. Sales growth 5 years. It means CAGR sales growth of 5 years is more than 20%. And then you just have to type and. What is next car? Profit growth. Profit growth 5 years, more than 20%. And what do you want? Stock price. or stock return, you can say here. Stock return is the query, or only return. Return over 5 years means how much stock has given return for the 5 years, which is also 20. Maybe you can check all the 500 market capitalization more than, just keep it 5,000. 5,000. So you want stocks whose valuation is more than 5,000 crore. Last 5 years, they have sales have gone up by not 20, maybe just a bit 15 here. Sales is gone up by 15%, more than 15% in the last 5 years. Profit has gone up by 20%. Stock return is also more than 20%. And valuation is more than 5,000 crore. So if you click, it will give you automatically results. 162 companies are there, which has given this kind of returns. See, amazing. So more than 150 companies you have who has given you this kind of returns. If you do it, just make it 30. Yeah, now 123. So 30% more than stock return every year. There are 120 companies available to you. Then from that company, you can go and analyze which sector you like, everything, and so on, so on. Maybe you can also check the return on equity is good. Maybe return on equity, average return on equity, you can say 5 years is more than 15%, let's say. Then you have 89 companies. So whenever you go and add some queries, the number of companies get reduced. So if you want to do Google, this website also gives you the option of whatever criteria you type accordingly, you will get the result. Clear? So you can also make a use of this basically site, which is very useful in the fundamental analysis part. Yeah, for technical analysis, you just have to see the chart and then you have to see whether the stock is in the uptrend or not. But fundamental analysis is very detailed in nature. You have to make some kind of queries. You have to read their annual reports, see the presentation part, read the conference call, Q&A part of management versus analyst. When you do so much things, then you can make a judgment about a company. So maybe you need one entire day, 8 to 10 hours of study is also required sometimes if you want to study a company in detail. Or you just have to analyze the numbers on this website. Maybe half an hour is also good for you. You're reading 1 or 2 documents, you're reading some part of the annual report, but yeah, at least 1 hour, 2 hours you need. 2 hours you can say. But yeah, whenever you do technical analysis, just 2 minutes you see the chart and you can draw a conclusion. So that is the difference between fundamental and technical. Technical analysis is very, you can say, quick study of a particular company or a stock. It may not be a right 100%. You always have a 50-60% of chance of winning versus losing. But fundamental analysis, if you study well, yeah, you think the company is good, the valuation is also good. Maybe you can say, yes, the company that you are looking into is decently valued. Yeah. So we studied these 3 points, parameters, you can say. And now another important point is valuation. If you are buying the company at a good valuation or not. We study a price to earning ratio. So what is a P ratio? We studied P ratio. Price to earning ratio should be less than 30. Why we are talking it? Because it means the stock is not overvalued. Then you have only 30 companies in front of you. See. So now from that 30 companies, you need to analyze few companies. Because you have n number of criteria available with you. Usually price to earning ratio is nothing but how do you calculate it? Let's say your market price is 1000 rupee and your earnings means earning per share. How do you calculate earning per share? We just saw some time back. Yes, anybody? Formula? How to calculate earning per share? Yes, give me answer. Only one answer. How to calculate net profit divided by outstanding shares? That is right. So basically, you need to make sure that your stock is not overvalued. You just saw some of the examples that if you buy stock at a very high price, you may not get return for the next 2 3 years. To make sure, you need to study that your stock is not overvalued. Usually, price earning ratio of 30, 25, 20, these ratios are considered as a good valuation ratios because it makes sure that you are buying a stock at a decent value. Sometimes even a higher price to earning stocks also keep growing high. But then if you want to do on a probability part, yeah, you have to play your cards well. That is why if you want to choose something which is not very expensive, the odds are working are more in favor of you. So yeah, these are some of the criteria you can look for and maybe try to analyze the stocks. You can note it down or take a screenshot of this. And maybe by this, maybe you can relax the criteria a bit as per your convenience. Instead of, let's say, return of 5 years, maybe here you can do 20. Price to earning ratio, you can take 40 also, less than 40. If you feel 30 is not very expensive, maybe someone will take 35. Apply this criteria and see what kind of stocks are in front of you. And from that, choose whatever 5 to 6 stocks which you feel are good and give some kind of answers. That is the assignment basically. So we'll come to that now. So this is basically assignment or project which you are going to do. My investment portfolio and stock selection. You have to submit it in the last session. So one more session after this we have, and after that the submission of assignment. So in that session you have to just present and give the reasoning. And why do you feel these are 4 to 5 stocks which are good and one can buy it? So just form a team of 4 to 5 people in one group, coordinate them. You can take 5 to 10 stocks. 10 stocks is also okay, and make a portfolio of it. That these are the 8 to 10 stocks that which we are presenting as a good investment, and it is a portfolio of us. Maximum 6 7 slides. You can take 3 to 4 minutes of P&A. Total time is 5 minutes per you. Select one company. I am saying select 4 to 5 companies total and give a good analysis of it. So if you have 4 to 5 people individually, you have to take a one company and give the reasoning that why do you feel this stock is good for the next 2 to 3 years of investment. So this is how make every for every stock one slide of presentation. Maybe you can say this is a stock name, this is a current price, and next 2 3 years, why do you think this is a good stock? Give some 2 3 lines of explanation. Maybe you can say growth is good, valuation is good, and so on. Whatever reasons you feel which are comfortable. So yeah, individually one stock you have to take and present it basically, slide to slide wise. Otherwise, what will do? Some people in the group only will present, others will not do anything. So yeah, individually take a company and do a one PPT. Yeah, why do you think this stock is good for the next few years as a good investment? A rationale behind it. Maybe you can first 2 3 lines you can mention about the company, what the company is doing, what it is a product company, service company. Maybe next 2 3 lines you can say how their growth was in the last 2 3 years, profit growth, revenue growth, and why do you feel, and then last paragraph you can write about why do you feel in the next 2 3 years the stock will grow. Reasoning of yours. Maybe you think valuation is good, the growth is good, or this industry is good which the company is operating into. Yeah, so and so on. So depending on whatever your analysis about the company is, you have to do it. I think, yeah, instead of this group, I'll make it individually wise. In the next session only, we'll start this. Individually, you will have 1 minute, only 1 minute time to each of you. to prepare a presentation. So from next session only we'll do start. The next session, first 30 minutes, I'll complete the revision part, whatever we have studied till now. And after that, we will start with the project. So each one of you will have 1 minute to present. And you just have to highlight one company which you feel is a good investment for the next 2 3 years. Just make a one slide PPT. That's all. First paragraph, write about the company. Second paragraph, what is the current situation of the company, last 2 3 years of growth record. And third paragraph, maybe 2 3 lines about why do you feel this is a good investment for the next 2 3 years. Yeah, that's what you have to do. So each one of you will make one PPT and submit it by next session. This is your assignment. Okay. So now if you have any questions, we have 10 minutes. You can go ahead. Yes, individually project. Next session is when I think next week. You can ask your teacher. So next session you need to be ready with the PPT. Just one slide PPT, only one slide. PPT or Power or whatever. You make PPT or you just do Word doc also. Find out one stock which you like and write 2 3 paragraphs about it. So first paragraph, 2 lines about what the company is about. You can just copy paste it about your company, maybe from screener also. Second paragraph, 2 3 lines, maybe you can mention about their past performance of last 3 years. It is not a group presentation, it is an individual presentation now. So next session, we will do a first 30 minutes revision of till now. And after that, we will start with it. Rest of the details, you will get it. Yes. As the Billy madam had said, you'll get it in the WhatsApp. So it's a very simple thing. Only one paragraph you need. Just mention about the company in 2 3 lines, the current situation of the company, and then maybe 2 3 lines about why do you feel this is a good investment for the next 2 3 years. So hardly 8 to 10 lines you have to write about particular stock. So each one of you select any one stock and just write it down. We'll discuss it. And from that, some interesting stocks, if you feel, we'll discuss it in the entire group also. So yeah, this is what you have to do. So by next session, just keep it ready. You will hardly I have to study it for like 30 40 minutes are enough to do this kind of assignment. Not very vague kind of a study. You have to present in front of jury. There's no jury as such. You can just tell me, or if any other teacher joins us, we'll let you know. But it's just a one paragraph, guys. It's not a very tough kind of assignment. You just have to select one stock and give the reasoning that why do you feel this stock is good for the investment. Yes, any other question, guys? Yes, guys, any questions? Okay, then we'll just quickly look at a mutual fund concept. We have some 5 10 minutes. Now, till now, what we study is what are the stocks, how to analyze it, how to check the fundamental performance, financial performance, technical study, and so on, so on, so on. But if someone has not the expertise to study all these things, what is the best option for them to do? Then they go to the mutual fund things. Mutual fund क्या करते हैं? It is a company which accumulates the wealth from the several investors who aim at investing it. So it is a pool of investments from persons like you and me. All the combined money is invested in the company, and then that company, they have a research team of analysts, financial analysts. Then they have a fund manager. So all this team combinedly, they will study the fundamental part, economic part. They will study also about the competitors, industry, and so on. So all the study is done professionally, and then they will buy shares for you. and whatever money you put in return, you get the units of the mutual fund. So this is how mutual fund operates. So if individual is not capable of studying the stock market well, the best option for them is to invest their money into the mutual funds. And accordingly, indirectly, you will be buying the n number of shares because you are holding that much of mutual funds units. So this is the example you will be seeing. Investor, he parks the money with the fund house, then fund manager invests into securities, it means equities, it generates the returns, and then again these returns are going back to the investors. So this is nothing but a flow of the mutual fund. It is nothing but an indirect way of investing into the equities or a debt. So in the mutual funds, you have equity mutual funds. So those mutual funds which are investing in the stocks, or you also have a debt mutual funds. Debt mutual funds are nothing but instead of buying fixed deposit, you are buying bonds of the companies, government securities, and so on. So depending on the what kind of risk category of the investor is, they buy a debt mutual fund, multi-asset mutual fund, or a equity mutual fund. And this industry is again governed by SEBI, and regulatory body or association is AMFI. Apart from that, and now you all know that every day you see a number of advertisements of the mutual funds, SIP. We also discussed about the SIPs in the previous session and systematic investment plan. Basically, every month you are investing something into the mutual fund. So it is a very popular product in India. And every month, if you see, more than 30,000 crores of SIP volume is coming into the Indian market. We saw an example of FII versus DII in the last session. You saw that FIIs have been selling from last 2 years into Indian market, but still the market is somewhat balanced. We have not collapsed to the extent. Yeah, we are down by some percentage, but yeah, there is no collapse yet in the market because of the DII flow. That is domestic investors, mutual funds, you can say. So every month, 30,000, 35,000 crores of money is coming into the stock market because of the mutual funds. And the industry is quite regulated and governed by SEBI. So it has become a very convenient option for the investors, those who don't have the appetite to study the stock market on their own. Those who can study stock market, they know fundamental, they know technical, they can read out the charts. Yeah, these people can invest individually and make money. But if one is don't having that kind of expertise, you can say you're not good with finance, you're not good with technical study. Yeah, the best option is just buy mutual funds and sit relax. Many mutual funds have the tagline buy right, sit tight, or sit relax. But nothing but you just have to buy and trust our process. This is the message they want to pass on. So they have the best teams to decide which stocks to buy and so on. So this is but nothing but a mutual fund that your money is managed by somebody else. And in return, they charge you some 1 or 2% of the management fee of entire investor's wealth. So that is nothing but the mutual fund. Okay. I think most of the concepts we have covered. Maybe we will study something else in the next session as a technical analysis. We'll take few more examples of the stocks, how to read the charts also quickly. But yeah, you be ready with the presentations. Just one stock individually, nothing great, and one paragraph of explanation. 2 3 lines about the company. What is the business of the company? 2 3 lines about the current state of the company, last 3 years performance, and then next 3 4 lines about why do you feel this stock is a good investment for the next 2 to 3 years. This is all you have to explain in the assignment. So yes, any doubt if you have asked me, otherwise we will wind up in next 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, I think so. Then no doubts. Yeah, we will wind up our session here. So next session, whatever it is, we will meet and we will discuss about the assignment part also. Okay, then. Yes. Best of luck, guys, and see you in the next session.